The problem with most online entrepreneurs, especially coaches, consultants, and agency owners, is you are actually super confused on what the real issue is keeping you stuck at just 10 to 15K per month. You see, I've been going over this with my private clients inside True Diamond Mindset. I help entrepreneurs all over the world release these blocks that we're going to talk about today, and so that they can show up and actually understand what's going on with their business, have the things that they want, get the clients that they always wanted, get paid what you want, all of the above. So I'm going to get right into this because I know attention spans are minimum. But overall, as an entrepreneur, if you've already reached 10 to 15K per month, there are a couple things about you that we can go ahead and assume are true. And if these relate, this video is definitely for you, okay? I don't know why this is so small, but we will get this big boy size here shortly. Hold on one second. Technical difficulties. And okay, I got the thing too big. All right. So if you're doing that, 10K a month, right? It means you already have a decent offer. Can't spell. You most likely are doing some type of marketing efforts, whether that's paid ads or organic. You probably have a solid sales flow down or team. And if you're crushing those months, right, you are making enough profit to live and not rob the business. Okay. So these are all the things that people are usually doing correctly if they are hitting up towards that, 10, 15K per month mark, right? You've got proof of concept. You've gotten clients. People understand that what you're doing is valuable. And maybe you've even received some type of lessons. You paid for courses, you paid for seminars, you paid for coaches, and you've been learning all these things. But for some reason, you are stuck at that 10 to 15K a month, despite believing to have a great ad, to have a wonderful sales process. Maybe you hired the most expensive sales coach you could possibly find, and you still are showing up on calls unconfident, or you are struggling with the delegation side of the business. So you're trying to do everything all by yourself and things are just getting left behind the table. Or my personal favorite that coaches love to do, where you're only doing one part of your business correct at a time. So this month you're making great content, but you're not running any marketing actively. Or the next month you're doing all the outreach, all the messages, but there's no new content. There's only ads running. So we're just kind of half in, half out. Or you're dealing with the personal life, right? These are things that are common with those who are stuck in the 10 to 15K. And I say stuck because we all know who have actually gotten to that level. While it is a wonderful income to be able to live and not rob from your business, if you've gotten that far, that means you have the vision to go much, much further. And you may even have other people within your sphere that are all going much further and you want to catch up, right? So you're like, I'm tired of this, grandpa. I got to figure this out. So the real problem is that most people are spending a majority of their time on the wrong sector of business to move the needle. Okay, so right here we have our little business wheel, and there's three parts that make up this wheel. And I can speak on this from results that we've gotten inside the program. I'm talking to entrepreneurs all over the world that this is something that most people have backwards. And I really hope this rings a bell for you here today. So of the three things that make up our business, right, we want to look at the three kind of areas. And so this first area is, your learning. And it'd probably be better if I type this out. Let's go ahead and nobody needs to see Unc try to draw here. But we'll say your learning / content intake. Okay, now this is critical. And if you're on this video and you're on, you've got mentorship and you understand, the value of getting this correct, then you probably don't have this problem. But we're going to have to talk about it in perspective of how important it is for your business, right? And this is as simple of monitoring what is going into our mindset, emotions, and mental well-being, right? What are we consuming on a day-to-day basis, right? If you're consuming content like this, that is a great use of learning. We'll talk a little bit more about how you can do even better than just consuming content. But at the minimum, right, watching something like this versus watching Love Island is going to be a lot closer to your business and a lot more productive and fruitful for your business As if you say the word apple without saying it out loud, one, two, three, that voice that only you hear and that kind of makes all of your decisions and is kind of running the whole show, it is affected by what it receives and what is input to it. So the more that we take in positive things, the more that we start to listen to these trainings and have mentorship and have community, is we're able to rewire our internal Apple voice to have more positive ideas and to get us to the place that we want to go without sometimes even knowing how that's possible. And this is just the power of repeating things and being around and exposing your mind to the right type of information and content. So this is important, but in the grand scheme of things, right, the information consuming side of things is only about this big of the sliver. Okay, now we're going to talk about what this big part is last, but we're going to move on now to the tiny thing, which a bunch of people will probably argue with me. This might shock you. It should be the biggest breakthrough, is that tactics slash funnel slash action. As far as what kind you do, right? I can't spell tactics. I put tacties, Jesus, save me, right? Okay, so tactics, funnel, and action. They are the least important part of your business, or at least getting through the 10 to 15K barrier. This now means in order to scale to the next level, to 20 to 30 to 50K months, like some of the clients in our program, you have to not focus on the tactics and the funnel and the individual action you're taking the most. Let that sink in. This is the least important thing in your business. And it is the thing that business owners spend the most time distracting themselves, falling for shiny object syndrome, wasting money on mentorship and agencies and things that don't matter, because this is really, in the grand scheme of things, irrelevant. Now, how do I know it's irrelevant? Because everything works if the other two sectors of this are in alignment. Now, the big sector is going to be the biggest shift here, but literally, there has been a business created off of every single type of funnel, off of every single type of thing, whether it's free or paid types of marketing, that all fucking works. There are literally thousands and thousands and thousands of people on the internet, just like me, trying to convince you that their funnel, their way is the only way. It's the best way. It's kind of like when people are selling a nutrition or health supplement and they're like, this is the best way for you to lose weight. That's not true, right? Like, and it's not the only way. I could just eat chicken, broccoli, and rice every day, and I'd be shredded up, jacked, and looking like the ultimate light skin. But if I don't want to, I could also have this shake that tastes like Fruity Pebbles and replace one of my meals, you see? So this is why, yes, there are better funnels. Yes, you might find something that'll tweak and it'll give you that extra 10, 20, 50, 30% conversion rates that you were looking for. But it doesn't mean that what you're doing now is necessarily broken. In fact, it's probably working just great, especially if you were able to validate your offer, have marketing, solid sales teams, just like we talked about before. What is the real problem then? It is this big sector, which is mind, body, and soul. Okay? Your personal state and self-concept and energy levels and emotional regulation levels and ability to handle stress is the single biggest needle mover of your business. And I need you to wake up to that reality right now if you want to scale. It's not the funnel. It's your inability to stop getting overwhelmed while working on the individual parts of the funnel. It's your inability to not procrastinate on things that you know actually move the needle, and instead of getting distracted by things that are fun and a lot less mentally tasking. It is your ability, it is your lack of confidence when you're on sales calls and being emotionally attached to every single call that you get on, whether the person signs up or not, that is keeping you even more disturbed, more guilty, more needy on the next call. These aren't things that can be solved by getting a new script, by having better leads or cheaper leads, or taking a new thing. Actually, these can only be solved within and by looking within. and by pledging oneself on the journey of self-discovery and by adding skills and by getting a qualified support system. I can't tell you guys how many business owners are literally only struggling and second guessing themselves because they have refused to put themselves near people who would actually support, actually give them strategy, and have actually done the things that they want to do and can make it a lot more simple and clear. If you are always talking to your cousin, brother, sister, mother about the things in your business, well, they're not going to understand, and even worse, they're going to give you advice that just puts you back farther. So we have to have all of these things. And when we do, ridiculous things can happen in your business that don't make sense. I have some, where'd I put these guys? I have some results from just the last week. These are all from just the last couple of days, except for my boy Han here. He sent me this at the beginning of June here. But everybody's business that you see here, the tactics and the way that they learn information, I did not change at all. We did not touch that at all. They did not work on that at all. The only thing these three individuals spent all of their focus on was working on understanding their self-concept, what they believe about themselves, how they are showing up, how they are viewing the problems and bottlenecks in their business, and therefore how they react to those things. And once we cleared that, and once we put in the skills to be able to, some ridiculous results followed. So Han, my client, is a barber. This is his first real full year after graduating barber school last year in March. And in the month of April, after raising his price, it was about the same. But in May, he pulled in $5,500 on only the credit card processor of his barber business while taking a week vacation off. And he takes 2 days off of cutting hair, Thursday and Sunday. You guys, this is ridiculous. He went, and he's on pace to do about $72,000 a year as a brand new barber, fully in his first full year in his own chair. And he's now doing better than like the average. We looked it up on ChatGPT the other day with him. The average new barber makes about $32,000 a year. What is the difference? The way he changed. He used to sit in the shop all day long, 60 hours a week, waiting for walk-ins. We changed the way that he described, demanded he changed his schedule, went around this, and all of a sudden he has been booked out since pretty much, when did you sign up? September, then was the next month. I can't do math. October? Yeah, since October of last year has been cooking. Then we had the price range has been absolutely nuts. Denise was a consultant. She's doing about $250,000 a year in her consulting business, working for medical healthcare providers, but she was feeling incredibly overwhelmed, incredibly behind. Like, I can't do this. I can't wake up at 4 a.m. to get the needle moving. I can't get through that. In just a matter of weeks, she has completely flipped that, is now working harder than ever, totally detached from having to live up to some standard of grinding at 4 a.m., has learned how to delegate most of the things, and is uncovering bottlenecks that she didn't even know were there because she was spending too much time overwhelmed about all the things that weren't working in her life. And the same thing with my client, Phil. He came to me doing about $10K a month in his coaching business with helping people get on Amazon FBA, and through really getting deep on what makes him tick, on what it is that he really wants, creating that crystal clear vision that allows us to get past these kind of turmoil moments in our life. He's gone up to all the way $50K per month with having sent me this text 2 days ago on the 9th of the month, having already crushing $18,000 in revenue. And that's just one of his businesses. So listen, guys, this isn't a game. Okay. And I put the proof because sometimes there's a lot of yappers on here, and you got to know that you're learning from some real deal. And so despite how crazy this feels, to say, okay, I don't need the new funnel. I don't need this. I just need to focus on me. I need to get into a better state. I need to have a higher state of self-conscious and self-concept. I need to show up better. I need to give more. I need to be more energetic. And the way I do that is not through force, not through some task list, not through intentional. It's just through grace and love and forgiveness and allowing myself to truly process the things that I may have been blocking for a long time. So if this helped you, I want you to continue to watch the other content on my channel. And if you want to work with me one-on-one and you're doing about 10 to 15K per month in your online business and you want to scale past that, you can book a call below. But I hope I see you guys on the next video. Peace, love, and prosperity.